Did you know that in the 1900s that Gastonia was the home of a well-known poet and journalist? Zoe Kincaid Brockman was an award-winning writer and poet born in 1890 on a farm near Gastonia. Proper pronunciation of her first name is Zoe instead of Zoe, according to a relative. She graduated from Gastonia High School and later had some additional extension courses from the University of North Carolina. Writing poetry and prose was her passion. Because of this, her father and her English teachers encouraged her to write and submit her poetry to be published. Zoe married Mr. Thomas M. Brockman, and they had 2 children together. Some of these pictures are of Zoe and her son when he was in the Navy. In 1919, she became the Women's Society editor for the Gastonia Gazette. As society editor, she covered local weddings, parties, and women-related clubs, organizations, and events. The newspaper was the local Facebook of its day, and many people would not schedule a wedding or event unless Zoe was available to attend and write detailed descriptions of it. Early in her life, she was also considered a crusader in the women's suffrage movement by serving as press secretary for the local suffrage league. Later in her life, her popular Unguarded Moments columns in the Gastonia Gazette were widely read and were required reading at the School of Journalism at UNC-Chapel Hill. Some of her first poetry awards were given to her from the North Carolina Federation of Women's Clubs. Through the years, she's won many poetry and journalism awards. Zoe was awarded the Halstead Cup in 1937. It was named after Dr. Joseph R. Halstead, Poet Laureate of North Carolina. Here are some other awards for her writing or for civic club work. Her poetry was published in the New York Times, Poetry World, and other publications and collections, such as this book, Stories and Poems from the Old North State. In 1932, she helped organize the North Carolina Poetry Society and became its first president. The society also published the North Carolina Poetry Review, which was first published in Gastonia, and Zoe became one of its editors. When she was president of the North Carolina Poetry Society, she used this gavel in meetings. The gavel, which was gifted to the Gaston County Public Library by Zoe, was given to her by a friend from Massachusetts, who had it made from the branch of a tree that grew outside Emily Dickinson's bedroom window. Emily Dickinson was Zoe's favorite poet. Zoe had 2 popular books published, Heart on My Sleeve, a collection of her poetry, and Unguarded Moments, a collection of some of her newspaper columns. Her writing was often compared to Irma Bombeck's humorous style. On August 4, 1974, the library and community celebrated Zoe Kincaid Brockman Day, during which a bronze bust of Zoe, created by Dr. B. Graham Weathers, Jr., was unveiled at the library. Zoe's poetry and prose helped put Gastonia on the North Carolina literary map. Zoe passed away in 1975. Bill Williams, who worked with Zoe at the Gastonia Gazette, recalled that every time she left the newspaper office, she always put a clean sheet of paper into her typewriter before leaving. That was a sure sign that the slate was there to be written on and that she'd be back to write on it. She was genuine as an oak tree and just as enduring.